This patient was referred to me for examination evaluation of tooth number 31. As you can see, he had cracked a tooth, but told me that he really didn't have much symptoms at the time. And again, he was referred to me a few months ago. So I examined the tooth, and he had definitely cracked the tooth. Of course, the distal lingual part of the tooth was completely missing, but there was no pulp exposure. Tooth was within normal, responded within normal limits to percussion, palpation, even cold. Cold was a little bit on the sensitive side, but there was no lingering pain to cold. So I told the patient, I said, you know, at this time, it doesn't seem like this tooth will need a root canal. Why don't you go back to your dentist and have the tooth will need a crown. So go back to your dentist, have your dentist put a temporary crown, prep the tooth for a crown, put a temporary crown on it, and let's see if we can hopefully avoid a root canal. If within that period where you have the temporary crown, tooth doesn't hurt, you don't have any symptoms, then great. If not, if you have symptoms such as pain, spontaneous pain, pain to heat, cold, biting, etc., then come back and see me and we'll do the root canal. And patient agreed. Well, patient came back 3 months later and said, oh, well, you know, I had my dentist prep the tooth for a crown, and now tooth hurts. Hurts a lot. It's sensitive to heat, to cold, to biting and everything. And I said, well, you need a root canal now. And he agreed. I started administering local anesthetic, and that was when he started to gag. And he couldn't stop. He couldn't stop his gagging. And I was just administering local anesthetic. Now, can you imagine if I continued and was persistent and wanted to let's say try to convince the patient or myself that we can go on and put the rubber dam on? He couldn't even handle local anesthetic. How could have he handled a rubber dam? So anyways, I immediately recognized that there is no way we can work on him like that. So I told him, I said, I'm sorry. I think the best thing to do would be to just sedate you. And he said, oh, excellent. That's perfect. Sedation works for me. So we dismissed him that day and scheduled him for IV sedation, which was today. He came in today for IV sedation. We IV sedated him and did the root canal. Took me 40 minutes to do the root canal, and he took a nice nap, and everything went beautifully. What I want you to pay attention to is, again, to be able to read radiographs and recognize all of this. You see that's the inferior alveolar nerve canal, and look at the proximity of this, of the roots of this tooth, the second molar on the lower right side. Look at the proximity of the roots to the inferior alveolar nerve canal. So if you're not careful, you can perforate the canal and push debris, push hypo, push sealer, or if you want to do this in 2 appointments, you can push calcium hydroxide, all kinds of stuff. Gutta percha into this space here, causing all kinds of damage to the nerve here. So you really need to be careful with these. But it all starts with being able to read radiographs and appreciate something like this. And here's the post-op. As you can see, everything went beautifully. 2 mesial canals, 1 distal canal, and we respected our anatomy here, major important anatomy here. The working lengths were 22 millimeters, so we instrumented, irrigated, activated, and obturated to our desired working length. Everything went great. We went ahead and temporized the tooth and referred the patient back to his dentist for the permanent restoration.